I mention on this channel very often the game series of Persona for its really big reasons, because it has a lot of fans and there is a lot of cool things in this series. Well, so recently they released a new game, which is technically not the new one, but in Steam it is new one, and well, there is a lot of things to say about it. I'm talking about Persona 3 Portable, which is the release of the or actually re-release of the popular 2007 game that is now playable on Steam, PlayStation 4, Xbox platforms, and Nintendo Switch. So I had to get this game and try it on my PC. How did it end up? Well, I'm gonna tell you in this video. But before we jump into that, I would like to ask you, if you're not an active subscriber of this channel, please become one, because really we are building a lot of new titles and we're creating a lot of new ideas, and the community will only grow in 2023. So why not to be a subscriber from the beginning of the year and not to come back to this channel somewhere later in the year where we're gonna have a million of subscribers and you're just gonna be one of the million, where you can always say, oh, I've been here from the beginning. Anyway, let's focus on the game. The game's success has created a lot of fans all over the world. For the new of Persona fans, captivated by the stories of the teenagers harassing their inner powers of boss of injustice and the save of the life of they know. The release of the many of those newcomers can get into the history of what is going on actually in the franchise roots, and to enjoy the strangers of their bounds with the different of groups. It actually reminded me something that, well, recently Final Fantasy did, where they released one of the older games, kind of like remastering it, where you learn of what's actually going on behind the scenes. But this is not for today. The game is largely optimized for the 2009 portable PSP release, and itself an improvement on PlayStation 2, originally released in 2007, like I said, in USA. But then it only took us, well, almost like 13 years to see it on PC now, with a better kind of like adjusted graphics a little bit. One of the key features of Persona 3 Portable is an option to choose a female protagonist, which is a welcome change after our two silent men in the series. Her dialogue is more fun, and the option to date a man is refreshing here. Through the same of, well, sex prioritizing here is sadly off the table in this part. Well, if you didn't expect that. Also, the game warns players from the start that female protagonist is supposed to play as the second time around. It's a great option to have. The game's story isn't the darkest here, it's the modern Persona franchise. While Persona 4 follows the murder of the mystery, it has a lot of plenty levity and humor. PlayStation 3's release for the Persona 3, however, was more about the isolation of the people and the players who are dead and turning them into something. Every student has a terrible, tragic post, as many are kind of like our fans or the kind of heavy, rocky relationships with their parents, for example, if they're alive, of course. And most of them are social links, the players that spend their afternoons after evenings of drumming into every involving of tragic figures, struggling through the depression. The game's supernatural event is that the dark hour that follows the midnight turns all of non-participating humans into glowing coffins, while Persona users run amok. This is the mode that allows more and more people to understand what's going on in the world of the Persona life. Persona is just an universe that you need to explore. So if you are not familiar with the series, I wouldn't suggest you to start from Persona 3 Portable. It is more something that I would suggest for everyone who is knowing the, let's say, Persona 4 or Persona even 5 releases, who play these games and feel like they missed something in the storyline that needs to be fulfilled with this one. PlayStation PSP release was really very good for Persona 3, Persona Portable, like it was said in the beginning. And this one really brings a lot of cool things to the game table of the storyline. As for gameplay, it is classical Persona game where you just kind of move every step and you kind of trying to understand what's going on. It's a step-by-step kind of action RPG where you just really love to do what you're gonna do. The turn-based combat in this series really reminds you of something maybe similar to Final Fantasy, but well, it is not something I'm gonna say that it's 100% the same. So if you are a kind of person who never played any of Persona series, this is not the start of the series that you would begin with. I would suggest you to get the game right now while it's still hot and you have some sales on it, and then wait till the release of the other series is like, let's say, new one that is coming later this year, and play them all in a kind of periodical. Start with the Persona 4, I believe would be the best one for you, then move to Persona 3 and you can try Persona 5 after that. That's what I will follow you. Just do this order and you will enjoy it. So thank you everyone for watching this video. If you're a fan of Persona, subscribe to this channel because we will actually review the game later on with the Persona 4 release that is coming in a few days. Thank you everyone for watching. I'll see you in the next one.